something that you can just say anything and go away with it. Cause them to be in an artificial mood of happiness. It's very, very unfortunate. My panelists in this studio tonight will tell you why that conduct is very shameful. Also on the table for discussion tonight is the president has given a directive, indeed inaugurated a task force, an interministerial task force to deal with this issue of illegal mining that is becoming very, very serious and is becoming a social canker on our lands. He has given very, very serious and precise directives, reminding them that the laws of Ghana it's about time that they've been enforced. With me in the studio tonight, I have the managing editor of the Lens newspaper. I'm talking about Kobi Fiagbe. Also in the studio is Alhaji Halidu Haruna, who is a member of the government communication team. Thank you both gentlemen for your time here.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Kobi, let me start with you. Your observations yesterday and today, because yesterday I realized that the courtroom was very hot. It looks like there was some, not too friendly banter between the presiding judge and Philip Addison, the counsel for the petitioners.
Well, thank you very much. What has been happening in the court so far has not been very surprising for some of us who have followed events from December 9th precisely to date. You would see that this kind of banters that you noticed yesterday will be becoming more and more because the court is more and more asserting its authority. From the beginning, I got the impression that the court wanted to give as much leeway as possible so that everybody can do their case and not say that maybe they were hounded or they were not allowed enough room to present their case. But then, as the days unfold, it looks like the legal shenanigans, the legal dribblings are becoming more and more, and so the court will need, and rightly so, to assert its authority, and that is what resulted in the sit-down order that we saw yesterday. That the court has clearly signaled that, look, we will give you as much room as possible to do your things, but we are in charge of this court, and we will not allow you to go wayward. But why would all these things happen? All these things will happen because from day one, from December 9th, we've had the MPP and the petitioners changing goalposts each step of the way. Right from the beginning, you had Jake Obechebilante, who is one of the petitioners and who is also the national chairman of the MPP, issue a press statement and said that they had detected and they had evidence of a collusion between John Mahama and certain EC officials, and that votes won by Akufo-Addo were taken and padded onto that of John Mahama.
Okay.
John Mahama, so as to create the impression that John Mahama had won more, and that these events took place after the results had been declared at the polling station, and that the changes were done at the collation center. Now, these are specific allegations that Jake came to make, and on the basis of which he wrote a letter to the Electoral Commissioner saying that the results should not be announced, and that they wanted a certain audit to be done. Subsequently, the Electoral Commission, after looking at the so-called evidence, saw that there was no merit to it. He threw the matter out and declared the result and said, if you are unhappy with it, go to court. Now they are in court. What do we see? They said they are no longer there is no longer any evidence of vote stealing, that Akufo-Addo's votes had been taken away and given to John Mahama, and John Mahama's votes had been illegally bloated. That is no longer the allegation. In fact, that specific question was put to Bawumia, and Bawumia's response was that we don't have any issue with John Mahama, not at all. And he was asked, you made a specific reference that votes had been taken away from Akufo-Addo and added to John Mahama. Where? Show us. He said, in fact, we thought we had 3, but we are no longer relying on even the 2 of those. They told him in one instance. And this is something that a whole national chairman of a political party stood on a public platform and made declarations of such, and for which reason you whip the sentiments of your supporters that your votes have been stolen. Now we come to court. You say you are going to court. If you come to court, you said, oh, as for the polling station results, you believe them. That was in Jake's statement, that the results were stolen only at the collation center, which presupposes that you believe in the polling station results. And therefore now, so we have come to court. Now let's come and attack the collation center results so that we can see where your allegation of stealing took place. You are now telling us that we are not even interested in that. We are interested in errors on pink sheets.
On pink sheets. It's no more pink sheets.
Those errors on pink sheets occurred at the police station where at the time you were saying that you believe in those reports. You see where the shifting of the goalpost is.
Inconsistencies.
So, consistently inconsistent. That is the MPP for you. That is Jacob Echebilamte for you. That is Nana Akufo-Addo for you. That is Dr. Bawumia for you. Consistently inconsistent. You go to the day that they filed their first writ at the Supreme Court, the press conference that they held. You check everything that they've said. Today, if you said, so those are not the issues before the court. Of course, those are not the issues before the court. But those are the very issues that you sold to your supporters to whip them into the street to say, let my vote count. Today, you who have whipped people into streets to come and say, let my vote count, you are saying that vote of 2 million Ghanaians should be slashed. Or is it 2 million or even more? Ghanaians should be slashed. So that Akufo-Addo can be. So it's no longer about let my vote count. And now they say, Bawumia say it's let my legal vote count. At the time you were pushing people into the streets, telling them, go on, let my vote count, did you tell them it's about legal vote or illegal vote? And who defines what is legal or illegal?
I'm going to ask for if about 2 million people have voted legitimately, and you think that some presiding officer did not sign. So where is the illegality in terms of the votes that has been cast?
For me, those are issues that are left to the Supreme Court to decide, and I will not venture to first of all, I'm not a lawyer, and I will not try to even take the job of the Supreme Court. But I'm telling the Ghanaian people that you need to follow these people step by step and realize that they are just taking their supporters for granted. They believe that their supporters will swallow anything, and so that every step of the way they keep on changing their goalposts. Now remember December 9th again, no, it was 10th December that our man Sir John came and said that MPP supporters should wear white clothes and go to church and celebrate. There is victory for us. They had won the victory. What was the basis for that declaration?
Interesting.
And today, suddenly, whatever the basis of that declaration was, it's no longer relevant. And we are having the same thing again played up today. In court today, an application was made on Monday that certain witnesses would be cross-examined. The court decided that, look, on the preponderance of the evidence available to us, we don't think that going through a laborious process of cross-examining 3, 4, 5 more witnesses would add any new information. Therefore, on the basis of the information available to us already, we can make a determination without having to cross-examine those people. Suddenly, trained lawyers are waving white handkerchiefs on TV screens, saying that they had won a case.
Unashamedly.
No, it follows the tradition. It follows. You see the changing of the goalposts, suddenly giving your supporters false hope from the point of, wear white dresses to go and jubilate. Go and jubilate. And then they come and say, suddenly somebody had stolen the election. From that point, it was STL. John Mahama is in the Jowulu office with some Chinese people, and when they fax the results across the nation, they intercept the team midway, reconfigure the figures, and send it to the Electoral Commission. This
to which the Christian Council was there,
Massa,
and they said there was nothing there to be found. By the way,
in court, Bawumia himself is running away from that allegation.
He said he's not aware.
Bawumia, their star witness, is running away from that allegation. But these are
do you know what was so amazing? In the press conference where he sat beside Nanado, and when he was asked, he said he's not aware. He was seated right by him. He said he's not aware.
That press conference.
That's
of course,
interesting.
You can decide to have amnesia if you want to. Nobody can force you to remember anything.
This one looks very selective.
You can decide to have an amnesia. Nobody is going to force you to have. But you see, this is where, look, the matters of law in the court, we should leave it to the judges to decide. And I have every confidence in our judges. But I am saying that the NPP supporters on the street must open their eyes to the lies that their leaders are telling them. Ghanaian people must open their eyes to the shifting of goalposts that is going on in this matter. From day one, from December 9th, go through every allegation that the NPP has made. Today, it is about errors on pink sheets. It is no longer about specific things that, okay, there is so much votes here, it was stolen. By the time it got to the collation center, it has changed. By the time it gets to Accra, it has changed. Those are no longer the allegations. And these are the allegations that Jake Obechebilante told us that they had preponderance of evidence to support.
You know, let me not cut you. What people don't get is that when we come here to talk about the court case, it is not as if we do not know what to do with our time, but it is important precisely because you have people watching the proceedings, but of course, most of them do not understand what is going on. And they will call you and ask you, Kobe, Charlie, what is happening? They need a proper understanding. And so it doesn't matter what happens in the court. What they come out to tell their people, they can rule against them, but they will tell their people we've won.
Yeah.
And that is the situation you have in your country.
And that is the danger that I foresee. Because when you psych up, for instance, we had a near chaos on our hands after December 9th, when people started banging on people's cars, smashing people's cars,
and a victim.
Yeah, and people ordering people to come out with catapults and cutlasses and go onto the street. And right in front of Akufo-Addo's house, that order edict was issued. People should come out with cutlasses and gadgets and go onto the street to do what? Obviously to attack their political opponent, because Sir John, the General Secretary of the party, had psyched them up that they had won a victory, and the Electoral Commission had said otherwise. Now, today, you have people who are supposed to be responsible citizens by virtue of the fact that they are lawyers. And we see lawyers in this country as people who are friends of the court, who help in the, how do you call it?
Education.
Maintenance of law and order. Now, when these lawyers now start waving white flag to indicate that they had won a case, and in the event that the Supreme Court comes with a ruling that says that no, the MPP or the three petitioners their petition is not on all fours with them, and therefore they have ruled against them, what is going to happen? You had already prepared the minds of your supporters that you are winning. So then you are setting up the Supreme Court for attack.
Yeah.
That the judges may have been bribed, the judges may have been intimidated, the judges may have been done this and that.
I'm sure they will take the copies of the judgment.
And this is why
another appeal,
this is why some of us are appealing to the judges.
Okay.
This is why some of us are appealing to the judges to take some of these things into consideration and issue stern warnings on it, because otherwise they themselves are being set up.
Kobe, I'll come back to you so you tell me about your observation about the posturing of the lead counsel for the petition. I'm talking about Philip Addison. Something that he's been baptized with the fire of arrogance.
Absolutely, I have no doubt.
Therefore, it's a topic worthy of discussion.
Absolutely.
But Halidu, Alaji, were you disappointed with the ruling? This ruling of wanting to add other witnesses to be cross-examined?
Well, Ali, thank you very much. And I think that yes, I am disappointed. Disappointed in the sense that the petitioners claim they want to unravel the truth of the exact person who won the election declared by the Electoral Commission after the 2012 election. And if indeed you are on the side of the truth, and anybody who would want to contribute in unraveling the truth should be of interest to the petitioners. And the petitioners in this case got up in court to say that we are opposed to the decision to actually bring the witnesses who have sworn under affidavit to make certain specific allegations that, according to their affidavit, occurred during the election. Now, My disappointment really is the position that they took, that they are opposed to the cross-examination of those individuals. But surprisingly, I don't know whether many people have observed. Philip Addison seems to be saying that he does not have any difficulty with two people. And surprisingly, those two people, have you actually looked at the names?
Yes.
And then look at the names that Philip Addison also said he wants to protect them, that he will disagree for those two people.
Basically, they were nodding names.
Certainly. So if you look at those that they accepted, that the court could call them to actually be in the witness box, it's just like Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. And there's a certain trend. And I am extremely worried with that particular impression that they are creating, because it looks as if they want to protect certain group of people, and yet they want to give away. Because if indeed you have a problem with cross-examination of your witness, it is important that you protect all of them.
Yes.
And justify why you think that it is not acceptable for those people to be called. But you decide that Frida Prempeh should not be called, and other 2, 3 other names.
Let me add this. Yeah. Even Bawumia himself, when a question was put to him, he said, for instance, a person like the Frima woman will be the best person to answer.
Certainly. So, honestly speaking, I was extremely disappointed with the position. And since the beginning of this case, I have been impressed by the conduct of the judges, except to say today that they have not lived up to my expectation, because I thought that we want to unravel the mystery behind the claim of the MPP. But Ali, it's important to mention this. I am not too surprised the conduct of that lawyer that you spoke about. Addison. I am not at all
the one on TV3.
The one on TV3, because you see,
Gary something.
Yeah, that's his name.
Jake Obechebilamti, together with Sir John, succeeded in misleading even John Ajekum Kufuor. You recall when Yayi Boni visited John Ajekum Kufuor, at the time that this issue of rigging were being raised by the MPP, President Kufuor made a categorical statement with respect of wrong declaration by the Electoral Commission. And he was bold to mention even certain constituencies where, according to Jake and Sir John, were declared in favor of John Dramani Mama, yet John Dramani Mama did not win those particular polling stations. Clearly, today, I'm sure if you go back and ask President Kufuor, he might be embarrassed by that position, because this is a man who I can say that in the history of the Dankwa-Busia tradition is the most successful political leader of that particular tradition. And you see what they have done to him, to his image. Yayi Boni is not just an ordinary leader of Beni. He represents the AU. He is the chairman of the AU, visited former president of this republic. And you have his political party leadership misleading him that the Electoral Commission actually declared wrong results in favor of John Dramani Mama. And he was bold, believing in their credibility, to also just re-echo that particular position, only to turn out that today in court, publicly, the whole world, the entire world is watching what is going on, that the position held by President Kufuor, which he actually even mentioned it to the AU chairman, wasn't the truth, but absolute falsehood. Certainly, a well-developed country, if I should say a civilized society, would have by now blacklisted the MPP, would not have even taken MPP serious. Because why? The lies that they have told to the people of this country since the declaration of results up to date
and
are uncountable, and they are still doing it. And for me, I think that yesterday and today, I would want to commend the judges for their boldness, to the extent that Atuguba, the presiding judge, was bold to ask Addison that, look, you cannot take our authority. Yeah. And indeed, we want to demonstrate that we are in charge here. Therefore, sit down. Sure. And sometimes the conduct of, you see, show me your friend and let me show you your character. I watch Addison carefully, and I want to believe that he has been infected by that particular attitude and conduct of the flag bearer of the MPP. I am not too surprised, because just look at the lawyers who they have paraded in court. Look at their demeanor and their behavior. Clearly, you will see that they think that they are more Ghanaian, they are more learned than any other group of people. But you see, today, when Addison actually got up to defend why they think that the court should not oblige the third respondent to actually cross-examine their witness, I observed a serious panting. He was, and you could hear it from the mic. I had
many calls.
And I was asking, what is wrong? Because, you see, in terms of age, he and Chachu, you see, when you have the truth on your side,
you are relaxed.
You are relaxed. You don't bother because you have the truth on your side. You want to make sure that at least the opportunity will be given to you to let the good people of this country understand and appreciate what is going on. I have no doubt in my mind that after the final determination of this case, the MPP as a political party, mark it and let those who are watching this program today quote me. Today is on the 16th of May. That the MPP will never, and it will take so long a time for them to be able to have the trust of the people of this country. Because why? The lies are becoming one too many. They have no courage to be sincere. You cannot seek the mandate of the people when you have no courage to be truthful. You are seeking a mandate to administer, to make sure that you'll be in charge of the administration of this country. And if, credibility-wise, you cannot be trusted, then it means that certainly the good people of this country, it is only
something is wrong.
Some of them, those who believe in that kind of lies, that will go with them. But I'm sure there are decent people today who either two were supporting the MPP, but having listened to what is happening in court, would have by now advised themselves with respect of supporting this political party called MPP. Okay,
but I want you to quickly touch on, before I move to Kobe, the claim by Gloria Kufu that somebody has burgled her office. But we'll do that when we come back from this quick commercial break. Do stay with me. I'll be right back. Hello and welcome back to the show. If you're just joining us, this is Majority Caucus. We are live on your multi-TV, also live across the world on www.multitvworld.com. Alhaji, Gloria Kufu again, her office for the second time being broken into. Is this something we should be worried about?
Well, I think that those who want to believe this cock and bull story,
what makes it so attractive to this burglars?
Honestly, first of all, she's not even the lead counsel. And if you look at even the lawyers that they've paraded, she only sits at the extreme end and she's more or less like an observer and observing the proceeding. At the end of the day, she's just authorized to speak with the media. Probably most of those, for instance, Addison, Okoto, Ampa and Co, things that, well, she is more or less somebody who can interact with the media. But let me say this, if you monitor the MPP from their political tradition, they have a well-crafted strategy whenever they put something before them and they want an objective to be achieved. And those strategies are to ensure that at least they create an impression in the minds of the people. And the danger in this particular process that we are experiencing in court is that they listen to the proceedings, and after the proceedings, they get onto the media houses. And what they seems to be propagating seems to be quite different and quite misleading with respect to the actual incident that occurred in court. I had a very nasty experience on TV with one of them. And he made an analogy of when you have 70 students in the classroom. And he used the diagram, that is a diagram to describe it. And he seems to be talking about these duplications of pink sheet. And I sat quietly and listened to him, and I indicated to him that I think that there is some kind of misunderstanding of the actual process going on in court. You have a situation where the three of us sitting here, certainly the three of us have a birth certificate.
Certainly.
And that birth certificate is unique to Ali. It's unique to me, my birth certificate. Kobe's birth certificate is also unique. Should I raise an issue with respect to the three of us, our birth certificate, and wanting an issue to be addressed based on those anomalies I observed on those birth certificates? And if there is any order that those birth certificates should be presented, what it means is that I'm expected to present 3 birth certificates, isn't it? In presenting 3 birth certificates, if on your birth certificate I identify 3 anomalies on that particular birth certificate, what it means is that yours will be 3.
Okay. Yes.
In terms of categorizing the anomaly.
First copy.
If I say that maybe your date of birth is wrong, and the signature on birth certificate is also wrong, and I want to categorize them, my birth certificate may be having a problem of date of birth, wrong date of birth, will fall under the same category with you having also wrong date of birth. You understand my knowledge?
Yes, I do.
But because of my birth certificate, there is nothing to do with signatures. My birth certificate should not find its way under another category of signatures. You understand? So in effect, if I'm asked to bring 3 birth certificates based on the anomalies I identify on those birth certificates, then I'm expected, if indeed I want to argue based on those anomalies, then I'm expected to bring more birth certificate than the 3. Do you understand?
You need to categorize them.
You need to categorize them. But if I decide to bring the 3, on the face value of the 3, you get 3 birth certificates. But in real sense, when you go and you are going to check based on the date of birth and then the name, you realize that probably my birth certificate appears twice and one is used to represent you. That's the kind of situations that we have in court today, and which the MPP people are not saying. Many of them that I had an opportunity to debate, they would argue with me, but when we come out of the studio, then they will say what they are saying is true.
But we can't say it.
Have you observed that their communication director, the last time that I think that this week, he was saying that, well, after all, if we said it is 11,138 and it turns out that it is less than 11,000, is it a big deal? They are preparing the minds of the people to accept the fact that they have done no wrong. But the point here is that, why? If the court has given you an order, you go back to the court and tell the court that we have complied with that order. Only for the respondents to come out to say no, they haven't complied. And it creates some kind of, if I should say, doubt. And the court says, okay, let's go back and count the pink sheet. And they've started saying that, oh, it is not a big deal. And that if you go to bank and you are giving money and you don't count it, will you go back?
But this is different. It is their document.
It is their
evidence.
And the move, the shifting of goalposts. And I wonder,
I'm not sure Ghanaians will countenance this.
Decent-minded people of this country will sit and accept this kind of conduct from the MPP.
Okay, I'll come back to you when we look at the case of the illegal miners, the Interministerial Task Force. But Kobe, you want to have a go at the conduct of the lead counsel for the petitioners? Or
No. But first of all,
and then we'll move to.
First of all, his counsel to Nana Akufo-Addo, and everybody knows when it comes to arrogance, I think that he's second to none in this country. So, I mean, that he's posturing as such, and to the point of even
interrupting the presiding judge.
I listened to him at one point saying that they are comfortable, they don't have any argument with the bench, and if the court gives an order, they are satisfied and they keep quiet. Only for the next moment, I see him in a very heated argument, as though I start like you understand, a banner. So I'm not surprised, really. Again, when you have made a certain promise to your people, you told them that you have a certain case, and they have believed in you, and you see clearly the case going downhill, you are bound to be panicking. You understand? you are bound to be panicky, and in that panic situation, you try to do anything and everything to save the situation. And so I'm not surprised that all this is going on. Really, if anybody wants to understand how things are going without being a lawyer or anything, just go and get the statement that the MPP has issued over the period, up to the point of going to court, up to even the last cross-examination of Bawumia, and you will see clearly that they have no case. They have just been, all that they are doing is something that will allow them to carry their supporters along and to create the impression that there is some hope somewhere. That is about it.
Absolutely.
Period.
Thank you for, I'm sure you know, briefly, you are a Muslim, and when a Muslim decides to actually swear by the Quran, he is expected, he is duty bound to ensure that he will be honest in whatever comes out of his mouth, in absolute terms. You have a situation where Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia keeps saying that you and I were not there. You have brought a case before the Supreme Court judges, and the Supreme Court judges were not at the declaration centers. And you are then saying that you are sitting in front of them, telling a lawyer that you and I were not there. Meanwhile, forgetting that those that you wanted them to annul the results were also equally not there. So certainly, if the lawyer has no mandate to pose a question of which you think because he wasn't there, he has no right to pose that question, then equally the judges do not also have that right. So you see the contradiction. Now, this man claimed that when you have an empty space, where that empty space, clearly, if it is not as a result of bad faith, particularly when you talk of the number of registered voters, we cannot say throughout the 26,002 polling stations, we do not know that people registered at those polling stations. We have specific number of people who have registered, and each of the political parties that contested the general election also were given the register. Now, Bawumia, if indeed genuinely, as he claimed, that they were fighting for the democracy of this country, he could have at least gone back to that register from those polling stations to ascertain the number of registered voters. But the kind of dishonest person he is, he decided that no, it's the best way to hide over voting. Yet, when it comes to an area where he needed to put zero to actually justify his claim, he will put zero. When a question was posed to him, he said that he cannot. There was a question that he said that he cannot go into the mind of the electoral officer. But when it comes to the space where the total number of registered voters at the polling station was not indicated, he could actually add. He was able to add zero there, and then I'll put zero there to say that. So he was able to go into the mind of the presiding officer to appreciate that it is zero that the man wanted to put. You see the double standard.
I'm sure.
And this is a man who has gone by Quran. Let everybody who is watching today mark it on the wall. The man will not end well because he has actually defiled the holy book.
I mean, the consequences of going contrary to
some of us who know the consequences of the Quran. I'm telling you, and what he's doing in there, he will not end well.
Indeed, Bawumia, I'm sure you are watching, and it's about time you tread cautiously when you swear by the Quran. We would have to play a quick, clip for you watching. Well, it looks like we have some challenges with the clip, but we'll just quickly move on to the president task force. I wanted to play the voice, but some technical challenges. The president on the 14th May, inaugurated some interministerial committee. What worries me the most? You hear Chinese citizens are shooting at Ghanaians. I think that is just too much to handle. And I'm happy to hear the announcement that the president has inaugurated. He has stated a lot of things that he wants to see this committee achieve, So, Halidu, is it too late to have this? Don't we have the sector minister? Must it take the president to set up a task force?
Well, I think that there are certain challenges confronting our country, certainly has to be looked at in the bigger picture than looking at it narrowly. And on the basis of that, I have no difficulty with the decision taken by His Excellency the President.
Okay, I want you to hold on. We have the clip. We'll play it shortly, and we'll come back to the studio for more discussions.
And your task is simple and straightforward. seize equipment used by those who fail to comply with the new directives of obtaining licenses or renewing their licenses, arrest and prosecute anybody, both Ghanaian and non-Ghanaians, involved in illegal small-scale mining, deport non-Ghanaians involved in illegal small-scale mining, revoke the licenses of Ghanaians who have subleased their concessions to non-Ghanaians against the rules, revoke the licenses of Ghanaians who have engaged the services of non-Ghanaian miners in the small-scale mining sector in ways that are contrary to the rules. Hold MMDCs and their respective DISECs accountable for illegal mining activity in their areas of jurisdiction. That government is not against small-scale mining. What we want is for those who are engaged in small-scale mining to follow the required procedures that govern mining in our country. Most of the private companies engaged in this are owned by non-Ghanaians. The problem here is that the gold exported by some of these independent exporters are fraught with all kinds of negative practices. Sometimes the source of the gold cannot be authenticated. As I expect your
Hello and welcome back to the studio. Yeah, Alaji, you were making a point.
I am not surprised that His Excellency has decided to take this bold initiative. Indeed, as government, it is our responsibility to ensure that sanity prevails in every facet of society. The conduct of these small-scale miners is becoming problematic, and indeed, as the statement portrays, that we need not to sit and allow this to degenerate into a situation where all of us would be buried into it. I think that as a country, we have laws in this country. Citizens of this country are expected to respect the law and abide by it. It is because we also envisage that there may be some miscreant. That is why laws are enacted in order to sanitize and bring, should anybody is found to have committed or go against the law, punitive actions can be taken in accordance with the law. Now, small-scale mining has some kind of dangerous things that, if steps are not taken to curtail it, the implications on the very people that government has a responsibility of ensuring that they survive would be derailed.
You mean galamsey, not
galamsey, that's illegal, because the small-scale mining, they are regulated because they have licenses, permits to operate. Now, you have the wanton pollution of our waters, the cutting of our trees, etc. And when you take a critical look of the importance of all these facilities or these environmental things, which as a result of galamsey we are gradually losing it, certainly as a country it will be unfair to this generation yet unborn, to sit and fold our arms and say that because they need to survive, they have to survive, and therefore we should allow them to actually continue with the operation. But it's important for this task force to also do a proper assessment of why we were unable to actually curtail and prevent it. You understand? So an assessment of the operation of various DCs, etc., must be looked at. At the end of the day, I think that the directive given by His Excellency the President, should it be taken serious and enforced, I'm sure we would have some sanity within the mining sector. And indeed, this is a resources that we need to mine and use it for the benefit of the country, and the generation yet unborn should also come and benefit. But if through our own activities we create a chaotic situation, then certainly it is something that will be better off to leave it down the ground, as Mugabe said. Exactly, than to go and mine it and create so many problems for us.
We'll go for another break. When we come back, the discussion and the studio continues. Stay with me. I will be right back. Hello and welcome back to the show. We are still live on your multi-TV and across the world on www.multitvworld.com. Before I open the phone lines, Kobe, you want to make an input in this?
Yeah, again, this is just another manifestation of the president who is determined to keep his campaign promises. You will recall that in the run-up to the 2012 elections, as he was campaigning across the country, President Mahama went to the eastern region and made a pledge that he would ensure, once the people of Ghana give him the mandate to as a president, that we bring the operations of Galamsey under control. Soon after he made that pledge, what do you call it? His opponent, also Nana Akufo-Addo specific, also went to the eastern region and made a pledge that should the MPP come to power, Galamsey operators will be allowed the free will.
But the two are not the same.
The two are not the same. Later on, when he was confronted, in fact, I did a story on that front page. Later on, he came and said that I meant small-scale mining. And he said the small-scale mining already exists under law. So you couldn't have been talking about small-scale mining. Under law, this exists.
Reserved for Ghanaians.
Yes. So you couldn't have come to say that this. We are talking about specific problem of Galamseyers and the dangers that they pose to this country.
He was attempting to legalize illegality.
Precisely. You understand? And so we are confronted, and with this kind of political backing, it is very, very difficult, because then people are emboldened. Oh, you know, to Abamamo, and to Abamamo, you have free and no. You understand that we voted for you, and you are coming to take our meals from our mouth, because this is our life. But the livelihood is based upon law. The armed robber can also say that armed robbery is my livelihood, and therefore we should allow him to continue the robbery. You understand? So clearly, this, like the president said, this is not meant to impoverish anybody or to disadvantage anybody. All it is meant to do is that we must enforce the laws that we have given ourselves as a republic. We say that small-scale mining is reserved for indigenous Ghanaians. So if you are a Ghanaian and you have the license, when you want to employ people, employ your brother Ghanaians. Don't go and give employment to Chinese. Because this thing has been reserved solely for we Ghanaian people. If we get up and say there is no work, we don't have work. Meanwhile, we are creating the work for Chinese and other nationals. That is what the president is saying. And in doing that, we are also not only just destroying our heritage in terms of the gold.
Let me go to the phone. I'll come back to you at 030221170124. Keep the calls coming. Yeah, hello. I have a caller already. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Please, this is Mohammed Awal on the line.
Okay.
I'm calling from Bolga.
Mohammed, you're on air.
Yeah. Good evening, Mr. Ali.
Good evening.
But if I'm not, I listen to you. I don't know. You said that you. Hello.
Go ahead. He's listening.
Hello.
You're on air.
I'm listening to you, but I listen. You said that about what they call it. But we just swear Quran. When it comes to court, it's not true. I don't know. Is it right or I'm wrong?
Yeah, you are right. Go ahead.
But we just so Quran. It comes to court. It didn't say true for Ghanaians.
Yes.
So you people, you are Muslim. You are sitting there. Are you telling truth to good people of Ghana?
Mohammed,
what you are doing before you go to judge for NDC? You are just
Mohammed, listen. Mohammed, listen.
Who bring the letter heaven story?
He doesn't. Mohammed, you need to get your facts. Mohammed, you need to get your facts right. You first of all cannot proceed on the false premise. He never worked at National Health Insurance, and he's not working there. And he has not sworn by the Quran to come and sit on this program. The only position he was advancing was that if you swear by the Holy Quran as a devout Muslim, you should stick to that, and that because the consequences are dire It's very simple. I do not think there's anything offensive in this submission. Yeah, Kobe.
His response is even confirming that indeed he's acknowledged that the man wasn't being truthful with the responses that he's given. And let me make this point. I have never worked with National Health Insurance. In fact, before even I started full politics, I was working with Controller and Accountant General. And indeed, I left to school in 2001. I started from 1997. So please, if maybe you are doing a misrepresentation.
Okay, I have another caller. Kobe, I'll come back to you. I have Samuel. Hello, Samuel.
Yeah, my brother. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay, we thank you for Harina and your friend Kobe for good job you're doing. And you know, some of the MPP supporters in Achem area, all of them know the same problem in the Achem area. But if some people talk about my friend who calling from Borega or North, they're talking about Korean. The person who in the court swear it is the Bible or the Quran, and you don't bring that your backyard pin sheet coming to the court. Do you tell is this the right? Is this good for God? Swear the truth. My brother, continue.
Thank you very much. I have another caller, Muhammad Ali.
Yeah. Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening.
Yeah. Could you please lower the volume of your set?
Yeah. So good evening.
I can hear you, but I want you to lower the volume of your set. I have some terrible feedback here.
Okay, I've done it, sir. Good evening, sir.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I heard one of your panelists, one of them said that Baumia swear by the Quran.
Okay.
And then it will not be good for him swearing by the Quran. It will not be good for him for the rest of his life.
No. Listen. Muhammad Ali. He said, yes, if you swear by the Quran, as Baumia has done, then you must stick to that oath that you've taken. Or if you want to swear by the Quran, make sure you speak the truth. That's what he said.
But that is the truth. If you don't see the truth, you not say it. That's the truth you have seen, and that's what he's saying.
Okay.
Yes, because if you don't see the truth, why should you say it? So for me, also seeing that is what I've also seen. That he's saying the truth. If he doesn't have the facts, you will not say it.
Okay. Thank you very much, Muhammad Ali. It looks like
it's important to make this point. You see, Baumia he mentioned it in court that he examined 24,000 pink sheets. Now, out of the 24,000 pink sheets, he identified 11,842 that they contain some anomaly, which in his mind, the court should annul the results on those pink sheets. Can Baumia boldly, per the Quran that he saw, that out the 24,000 that he examined, he could not find any other anomaly apart from that 11,842. The rest of it that he left behind. That is the sincerity we are talking about. If indeed we are fighting for the democracy of Ghana, then it should be the entire 26,200 police station. You go to court and say, look, you observe that certain things have happened, and those things indeed have implication on the results, and you think that indeed the court should make a pronouncement on it. You don't pick and choose. When you pick and choose, knowing that you have picked and choose to satisfy your interest, and you agree to swear by the Quran, telling the court, the entire country, that you are a devout Muslim, and indeed you are swearing by the Quran to speak the truth, and turns out that they are being shown a pink sheet belonging to your polling stations where you said that you voted with biometric verification, and yet the pink sheet, per the entries of the presiding officer, the pink sheet is saying that none of those who voted there actually went through the biometric verification. Certainly, you cannot be said to be candid with the people. And that is the position that I'm not embarrassed to express.
Absolutely not. Kobe, the last word.
Yeah, I think that the people of Ghana should just continue to have faith and confidence in President Mahama. He has proven that he is a man of his word. He gave this pledge during the campaign period, and he's moved into action. And I'm also happy that the president said that, look, the MMDC district assemblies should own the problem. They should not sit down and think that it's a sector minister for what interior or whatever. It is your problem at the local level, so you must own it, and you must be held responsible for the things going on in your locality.
I share with that view.
Absolutely.
I mean, allowing this thing to become a national canker is unfortunate, because
that is why we must bring it to the local level and nip it at the local level. And I think that is a clear signal that the president is determined that this time around, this is not going to be just another tea party where people will go and say, will come around and say nothing gets done. We must see some very constructive action that is going to result.
Kobe, we've run out of time. Thank you very much. I have Kobe from, he's the managing editor of the Lens newspaper. Also in the studio was Alhaji Alidu Haruna, member of the government communication team. And for you out there watching, thank you very much for staying with us. Special greetings to Eric of the Kenke base. You know what happened. You are at Tico. Don't tell anybody, by the way. And so we'll be here. We'll be here next week Tuesday, inshallah. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.